That is a conversation that people are talking about nowadays. Is with the actual with Juneteenth coming around, do we should we even be celebrating the Fourth of July? And like I say, Dr. Umar Johnson, he's never shy on such topics. He went ahead and he voiced his opinion on the matter. So we're gonna cover that. And we've seen quite a few spaces lately, people talking about the Fourth of July and Juneteenth and whatnot as well too. So I feel we might as well. Today is the Fourth of July, and if you celebrate the Fourth of July, happy Fourth of July to you. Hey, you know what, y'all? I was just talking and my mic was muted, so I was just talking, but yeah, like and you guys missed it, but yeah, if you celebrate the Fourth of July, happy Fourth of July to you. This is going to be an interesting conversation. The thing about Dr. Boyce Watkins is definitely going to be a interesting conversation because Dr. Boyce Watkins made the comment. He had a post, and that post gained a little bit of traction with folks as well too. Dr. Boyce Watkins was of the opinion that, hey, 98% of Black people don't know their family name, so how can you be free? So we just want to get into that conversation, into that actual topic that Dr. Boyce Watkins decided to talk about your, if you don't know your family history or your family name, then how can you really be a free person? So I saw that post, and I saw quite a few of our people, and quite a few of our people up in this space, they responded to that post as well too. Quite a few of them did not like it. They expressed themselves. So we want to talk about that tonight, man. So like I say, shout out to everybody coming up in the space. If you celebrate the Fourth of July, guys, happy Fourth of July to you. If you don't celebrate the Fourth of July, then hey, just another happy Tuesday. Glad to have you guys up in this space with us. Y'all may be hearing some fireworks tonight because folks are letting off in my neighborhood as well too. They letting off, and generally these cats over here, they'll go all night, and sometimes hell they'll be going, and a couple days later they'll still be letting fireworks off. So you may hear some fireworks, you may hear some booms and some explosions in the background as well too. But hey, that's pretty much how it is here. So shout out to everybody up in the space. Tweet the space out. We finna go ahead and we finna get it done. Get up in the conversation. Shout out to Professor DJ Original. Shout out to everybody in here. Chanel, Ray, Nita, everybody up in here, Carlos, everybody that's coming up in the space, guys, go ahead and tweet it out. We're going to go ahead and touch up on this article that Dr. Boyce Watkins, not the article, but I'm sorry, but the article that Dr. Umar Johnson was talking about. He was mentioning, and we're going to also talk about the post that, like I said, gained quite a bit of traction on Twitter about Dr. Boyce Watkins' opinion about family name and freedom. So let's go ahead and get into it right now, I guess. And Professor DJ, let me know. I'm gonna read this right off the site. Let me know. I read the full article off the actual site, guys. Let me know if you can still hear me. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you good, bro. Go ahead.
All right. And it's up in the jumbotron. So we have the short version of Newstoter, and the fully extended article is always on the parent site. This is from News One. It says, should Black Americans still celebrate? Should Black Americans still celebrate July 4th or Juneteenth? Let me go ahead. It's from News One. It's curated by Newstoter.com. With the ascension of Juneteenth, the federal holiday status, along with it being so close in proximity to the 4th of July holiday, some Black folks might find themselves wondering whether they should still be celebrating the nation's Independence Day. After all, Juneteenth has been referred to as Black Freedom Day or Emancipation Day. So Dana said you don't see the space. Dana, the space. Give me 1 second. So whose independence should folks be celebrating? That answer may not be as cut and dry as Dr. Umar Johnson apparently thinks it should be. The noted psychologist reportedly took to social media to share his thoughts on the matter. According to Johnson, there is no choice, and there is only one correct answer for Black people in America, Juneteenth. There's nothing worse than a Negro who will celebrate his ancestors' freedom on Juneteenth and turn right around and celebrate the slave masters who owned them on July 4th. Please pick a side and stay on it. Johnson implored Black Americans in an Instagram post that began with the hashtag unapologetic. To be sure, the topic of pitting the 4th of July and Juneteenth against each other is nothing new, but Johnson seems to be pointing to the concept of an underlying allegiance to the holiday that not only marks the end of slavery in the state of Texas, on June 19th, 1865, but it's also a historic moment in American history as well as a culmination of President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation that was written 3 years prior. After all, it's been nearly 171 years since the iconic abolitionist Frederick Douglass delivered a speech at the event commemorating the signing of the Declaration of Independence that questioned Black people celebrating the 4th of July. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn, Douglass said on July 5th, 1852, before asking rhetorically, do you mean citizens to mock me by asking me to speak today? Opinion writers have particularly been chiming in on the topic for the last couple of years since Juneteenth became a federal holiday. Pernell Joseph, an African-American scholar on race, wrote for CNN that it is worth remembering that Juneteenth, as much as the 4th of July, represents American democracy's true birthday. Others have accurately pointed out that July 4th holiday was established at the same time that Black people were considered 3/5 of a human. Too many Americans think of the 4th of July as a day in the making, the triumph of freedom and equality in America, as if everyone enjoys the same liberties and opportunities. Ethan Kittle, professor of history at California State University, Fresno, told Yahoo News, in one of America's oldest newspapers, there's no need to choose between Juneteenth and the 4th of July. It doesn't have to be either, or it can be both. And from the Chicago Crusader, we can enjoy the incremental recognition of the new federal holiday, which will bring additional focus of the trials and tribulations faced by us as people, in the same time observe the nation's independence as represented by the 4th of July holiday. Perhaps a Washington Post article co-authored by Opal Lee, widely recognized as the grandmother Juneteenth, summed it up best. Juneteenth is the other half of the 4th of July. The article says these two holidays, which fall a mere 2 weeks apart, representing the best of America. One celebrates the Declaration of Independence, which contains what the great abolitionist Frederick Douglass calls saving principles. The other celebrates America's journey to live by those principles. This is America. All righty. You guys heard me okay in there? Okay, what's up? I see Judge Joe Brown is in the actual YouTube chat too. He says, I see under the space under Dana with the data account, but not the real Dana account. So Dana, I see Dana's account up in here, but Judge is on YouTube. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly, Dana. I know you said you was having some issues with actually getting your account up in here, so I'm not exactly sure what might be going on. But I see you up here with the real Dana, with Dana with the data. So I'm not sure if it might be an issue or something like that. But how's everybody doing? Like I said, it's me, Dana. I control. Oh, okay. So you control the judge. Okay, so it's Dana. She's on YouTube and she's got the judge's actual YouTube channel. So okay, so Dana, you control the judge's actual YouTube channel. Okay, so I was like, hey, judges on Nate, that's actually Dana. She actually has a judge's YouTube channel. So Nate's giving a shout out to the judge, but it's actually Dana that has his actual YouTube channel. So Nate, you actually giving a shout out to Dana. But yeah, y'all, that was just the article from News One that was talking about July 4th and the actual I wouldn't say a backlash that we have. But, a lot of people feel the need to hate. They're saying basically we got Juneteenth, and Umar Johnson's pretty much letting you know how he feels about the whole matter as well, too. They even quoted Frederick Douglass back in 1852. So you can understand how Frederick Douglass is going to feel in 1852. Hell, you're not even a citizen. So technically considered a citizen by most of the United States of America. So you can pretty much understand how they feel about the situation as well, too. They're not going to be like, well, hey, I don't blame Frederick Douglass. In 1852, who would go out there and feel like celebrating when, 90 some odd percent of Black people in the country are in slavery? So that's definitely, I want to get everybody's opinion on this. Like I say, if for those that celebrate the 4th of July, peace to you. Happy 4th to you. For those that don't, hey, same as always, still peace to you as well, too. We got a decent number of our people up in the spot as well, too. Let me go ahead and I want to touch up on this. And guys, feel free to go ahead and raise your hands as well, too. So I want to go ahead and touch up on this post that Dr. Boyce Watkins put out. And I want to read a few of the comments. It's a bunch of them. I'm not going to read all of them, but it's a bunch of them. And Dr. Boyce Watkins, he posted this on, looks like it was July 23rd. And he says, "How can black people be not July? What am I talking about? I'm sorry, July 2nd, the 23rd of July. I hadn't got it." He says, "How can black people be free when 98% of us don't even know our true family name?" And here are some of the comments when Dr. Boyce Watkins said that. Marcel for Congress, of course. Marcel says, "What the hell? Seriously, has your account been hacked? I mean, seriously, I mean that." You had Sugar Water says he has revealed who he is many times, but most turn a blind eye. Our girl I am, who's always up in the space, says, "I don't know why people still follow him." Rella, she had some choice words to say. She on one another post, she said, "What?" Militant Midget says, "You're doing too much, bro. Stop this. You know what?" Rilla came back and she says, "Who gave you your last name, Watkins? Oh my God. This is what a PhD scholarship looks like." Tex Well Wiz says, "I'm not free until I learn the name of my 10th great grandfather in Africa. Then presto change, eyes free. Thanks, boys." We had Black 007 say, "Sometimes you be talking just too much." Fresh said, "According to at Dr. Boyce Watkins, we have no excuses. We're just ignorant without harm." Uh, Black A Star says, "Huh? Did our tribes in Africa even have last names? My family name has no slavery ties. My matriarchal ancestor just picked one in 1860s when she got freedom. We are a new people." Miss Battle says, "You have to tweet outrageous things to get attention. How sad." Noble Eroy says, "We are free to adapt to any tribe or family name we see fit." Dr. Watkins, "Our current names are clear evidence that a birthright crime is taking place and is specifically by no name committed the crime. This is the remedy, reparations." FBA Co says, "You're a disgrace." Brother Vince says, "Dr. Boyce, I thought you said you were going to start doing better." Dre Coop says, "Man, I stopped following him a long time ago." Tex Well says, "Tell him we ain't free." Buffalo Soldier says, "All these Africans in slavery today on that continent and around the world know their names. What blank has that done for them?" Horrible tweet. The Union of Black America says, Miss Scott, to you says, "Speak for yourself. I can date my family back on both sides back to 1800. A Righteous Carbon says, "Family equals name. Name should be meaningful. Call me whatever I tell you to call me." Ten Toes Rail says, "Why does anyone take this guy serious?" Toby Edison says, "Dr. Boyce Watkins, best bits." So, like I said, it's a number of people voicing their opinion about it. Kendra Soul says, "My ancestors chose our surname, and I know I'm not the only one. What are you saying?" So yeah, Dr. Boyce, and it's a whole bunch of different comments in there, guys. It's a couple hundred comments in there. Not the happiest campers about what Dr. Boyce Watkins said about the equating the name to freedom, saying that 98% of us don't know our family's names. Let's remember this one thing here as well too. There are a lot of European immigrants that came to this country that changed their names from what they from the original spelling and meaning of what their actual names was as well too. So it's just not a bunch of black people, descendants of chattel slavery, who lost their names, were named and stuff like that. If you ever seen the original Godfather, well, actually Godfather 2, when they act like a young Vito Corleone he comes to America. Well, his last name really wasn't Corleone; it was Annalini or whatever it was or whatever. But Corleone was the actual city he was from. He wasn't really verbal at that time as a young kid, so he had to change. And he didn't even say it. They looked at it. Oh, he's from Corleone. Oh, it's Vito Corleone. So there's a lot of people in this country, and we see it with a lot of Asians and stuff too. A lot of Asians have gotten rid of those Asian last names and stuff like that, and started adapting what they consider to be more westernized American type names as well too. So to sit and just say, you know what, well, because you don't know your last name or you don't know your family's name, then you're really not free. That's kind of that's not totally true. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of people that have migrated to the United States of America who have changed their names, totally changed their names, period. First name, last name, and everything else to try to adapt to this culture over here. So that's not entirely true. What's up, Tech Hunter? I see you over there as well, and shout out to my people over there and YouTube as well too. So yeah, this is the conversation. I saw you were up in those tweets as well with Dr. Boyce Watkins as well too. I think I read one of your comments. So there was a bunch of y'all that's up in this space here. Some of those who are normal people that's up in this space, they may not be in here right now, but there was a bunch of our people that's up in this space that had something to say about it. They weren't, like I said, they weren't happy campers. They didn't feel like, Boyce was really accurate with what he was saying. And like I said, there's so many different groups of people. We see it. We see people not only change their names, they change the way they look and everything else. And just to fit into what they consider the modernized American way of life, a lot of people and to this day they still change it. So you can't really just sit up here and say, hey, well, Black Americans, y'all don't know, and you're talking about how many generations ago as well too. So I think, like some of the comments were saying, if you did go along and you did start changing, you actually did give yourself a name, because a lot of our people got free and they say, hey, you know what, I like the last name Williams, I'm going to be a Williams. I like the last name Thomas, I'm gonna be a Thomas. I'm gonna be a Smith. I'm gonna be a Green. I'm gonna be a this. I'm gonna be that. So I get what he's saying. That, hey, you don't know the true origin of your ancestry name and this and that or whatever. But hey, it is what it is. A lot of people in this world don't know the true ancestry of their entire names as well too. So I don't think we should just hold that against Black Americans for the most part. But man, also I want to get people up and I understand. Hey, is the 4th of July something that we should go ahead and celebrate? I say if you want to celebrate it, celebrate it. If you don't, you don't, but hey, that's just me personally. For a lot of people, it's a tradition. For a lot of people, let's be for real, it's a damn day off from work. You get a chance to rest, be with family. You may want to do special activities or something like that. So that's what a lot of people look at holidays for. That's what I've always looked at a holiday for. It's just a day of rest. It's just any other day except you may have that day off. So that's what I personally look at. I don't care what the day is or whatever. So I'm definitely eager to hear everybody's opinions on this. Professor, DJ, I see my man Original up here. Dana, I want to get this conversation flowing. I definitely want to hear some of those people in the space that actually left comments and see, exactly how they felt about, Dr. Watkins. And I don't want to bash Dr. Watkins because I don't know him personally, anything like that either. So I want to be respectful to, I know with Dr. Watkins, there different views and opinions on him and stuff like that. So, I personally don't know anything about him. I always like the fact that he had Dr. Claude Anderson on his broadcast, and Dr. Claude Anderson is a man with an enormous amount of information that I definitely respect. So I always respected that about Dr. Watkins. So feel free to come on up here and talk about how you guys feel. Yeah, like I say, man, y'all gonna be hearing some fireworks going off. They outside right now, letting them loose and stuff like that. So you may be hearing some fireworks and firecrackers and things shooting off, but it is what it is. So, Professor, let me ask you a quick question. What's your personal opinion on either one of these topics tonight? The 4th of July with Dr. Umar Johnson, basically saying that, hey, get rid of the 4th of July, just focus solely on Juneteenth. And also Dr. Boyce Watkins' comments about, hey, 98% of us don't know our family name, so we're not free. And DJ, Original, all the speakers up here, I'm going to get to. If you're a speaker in the speaker role, I'm going to ask you to. So
That's a very good question, brother, and very good topics right here tonight. And I can't wait to hear what everybody has to say on it. So peace, love, power, and reparation to everybody in the space tonight. Let's go in on these topics. So I would say with Dr. Umar, I'm just really tired of hearing Dr. Umar's mouth on any goddamn thing, to be honest with you. But in reference to getting rid of the 4th of July and just focusing on Juneteenth, Black Americans definitely should focus on Juneteenth. That to me relates more to us, okay? That's a day for us, right? So I can see us focusing on that being us, Black Americans. The other day, which is today, Independence Day, 4th of July, whatever you want to call it. Hey, you might even want to call it Cockasword Day. That day is mainly for them. So let's be honest. You're not going to see that day go anywhere because these patriots out here, the Cockaswords, love this day. This is their Independence Day. So therefore, it's not going anywhere for them. Now, for us, we shouldn't look at it as a day for us to celebrate unless, you're just looking at it for a day that you get to be all work, which I'm very happy to be all work, right? See, I'm happy about that. Which for them, they're happy to be off for Juneteenth. See, that's a day for them to be off on Juneteenth, and you get paid for the holiday, right? So, see, each group is going to look at it pretty much like that. So, therefore, when he talk about get rid of 4th of July, ain't nobody going to get rid of 4th of July. These folks love that damn shit. They love it. But Juneteenth, as Black Americans, because so many of us didn't really know about Juneteenth, and now it's really coming to the forefront with our people, we really need to get into that more. That's ours. So that's what I'm going to say about that. And when it comes to the whole situation with us not knowing our last names per se, it's a lot of people out here that don't really know their last names for sure. We really don't know where we come from for sure. Not really. Most people don't know. Black Americans for sure don't know. Most of us don't. But it's other groups that don't really know neither. That's why if you notice, you'll see a lot of people going on these websites. What's one of these websites called? Genealogy.com or something like that?
Yeah, Ancestry.com.
Right, Ancestry.com. You notice there's a lot of white people even using this site because they trying to find out exactly where the hell they come from. Shit, most people don't really know. Now, it just so happens with our group, we were a group that were brought over here in bondage. We were pulled away from our history of being in Africa, wherever land we come from. We're not sure. We're not sure what tribe we come out of. We were separated from our families when we got here. They auctioned us off, so they separated us from our loved ones. So it's so much trauma within our history for us to try to go through and track down all of this. And so that's what makes our situation so unique versus everybody else, because I think for everybody else it's easier for them to track stuff down versus us, because we were separated when we got over here, when they put us on the auction blocks. And forced, we was forced out of the hands of our loved ones, people that was our mothers, our fathers, our uncles, our aunts. We were separated from these folks. We were sold off to other families, because that's what slavery was. Slavery was a business to these people. They didn't give a damn about us being human. They didn't care about the fact that we had loved ones. They just wanted to sell us for a profit. So that's what makes our story so unique in America. And so it's different from everybody else from that perspective, okay? But it's a lot of other groups that still trying to track down where they come from too, who they are too. But ours is just a little bit more struggle because of what we had to go through with slavery and all of this. So I'm gonna land right there, family. I want to hear what everybody have to say. Good to see you up here, Dana with the data card or whatever. Damn, is that Dana with the data card with that white hand again? Dana, what I told you about the cards. But anyway, I digress.
All right, Professor. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Dana. Dana, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, honey. I don't know what is going on because I cannot see that you are on. I can't see that you're like live on Twitter Space on my other account. I'm like, I hope nobody ain't trying to be petty. And, I don't know, because Twitter is funny, and I had just did a space. So, yeah, I don't know. I just find that kind of odd. I can see your page, but I can't see that you're on Twitter Space. So I just find that funny. But anyway, Yeah, I'm surprised you were talking about Boyce Watkins because people don't usually talk about him as a topic because he's irrelevant. He says things just like other people, you know what I'm saying, on social media to get black people triggered. And then, honestly, all the scamming that alleged scamming that he's been accused of, how are you going to try to criticize black people in any manner? Nobody don't take him seriously. If you have a triggering or good title, especially on YouTube, you won't get views. But he lost so much credibility and respect. I noticed, I don't know, but I'm assuming that Tariq Nasheed don't even deal with him because he hasn't been to none of his conferences. He hasn't been to the museum. They don't even like mention each other's name like they used to. So, and not every, but three women that was under his platform left and had nothing but negative things to say about him. So he has a very messy resume. And, I mean, I'm just surprised you're even talking about him because he's not that important to even put in your Twitter space title. But anyway, and I actually thought when it says Umar and Boyce Watkins, I'm like, oh, did they talk to each other, even like an interview? But when if Dr. Umar saying, we shouldn't celebrate the 4th and June 19th, and I just did a Twitter space about, should black people celebrate the 4th of July with the judge, and it was really productive. And I say this, if you want to celebrate it, we have every right to celebrate the 4th. And if you don't, you have every right not to, not just black people, but the natives, the people that were here before the Europeans. Some of them celebrate it, but most of them don't. So that's your own choice. And as far as June 19th, they made it a national holiday, but I think we really have to dig deeper in our minds and just really decipher things because Texas always celebrated Juneteenth because it is more so a Texas holiday. But if you was going to make a national holiday for enslaved Africans being free, right? It didn't have to be June 19th. It could have been another day. And now I wish it was because I had to think deeper about this and analyze it. I have a problem with them selecting June 19th. And it was literally planned that this administration, but I think, no, the Congress under Trump submitted the request for this. And I think he approved it, but it was passed under Biden, something like that. But Congress that initially presented this and for it to be passed, that was intentionally done because now what they're trying to do is lump us with LGBTQAI plus or IA plus. Because when you see Juneteenth being marketed, they're marketing it with the rainbow and then adding the brown and the green and the red to their rainbow colors. So it's really a bad idea. It's in corporate, consumer corporate selling it, making a profit. It's marketing with LGBTQ and everyone, and then you have people who are Pan African or Black immigrants or Black people outside of America that's here. They're using it and don't even know the real meaning behind it. So it's whitewashed. It's whitewashed. It's gay washed. It's tethered washed. So, but if you would have selected another day that didn't fall on Pride Month, I think it probably wouldn't have never been a national holiday. And even if it was, we could it would be more of a genuine celebration and more educational and not just all this extra stuff. Everybody got their hands in the pot. Everybody got their hand in our pockets, basically. That's what it is. So I kind of regret the fact that they made June 19th a national holiday because they actually messed up the essence of that day and what it means, especially for the people of Texas and the people that were free prior to that. So, yeah, and I'll land there.
All right. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We had to go ahead and incorporate Boyce into this conversation tonight because too many of our people that we rock with, they were up in the comment sections. You had Marcel, you had Rella, you had I am, you had a bunch of people that be up in this space that follows Newstoter that kind of got a little bit ticked off about what he put in there in terms of the actual 98% of black people don't know the family name or whatever, which I thought added to the conversation as well too. So that's why we put him up in there. I wouldn't say Boyce Watkins is totally irrelevant. Boyce has a huge platform still. He may not have the reach that he once did with people, but he still has a huge platform, and that's one reason. People took when he said, a lot of people saw it and they had to respond to it. So definitely, we wanted to go ahead and incorporate that into the actual conversation tonight. Oh, 1 second, Dana, 1 second. So that's why we wanted to go ahead and incorporate that into the actual conversation. Now we were going to do the thing with Umar anyways about the 4th of July because that's been a hot button, and Umar was and he's not telling people, he's not saying for the masses to go ahead and get rid of the 4th of July. He's just saying black people shouldn't celebrate it. So I understand where he's coming from and how he feels on that point of view as well too. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and mix them both in there because when you look at Juneteenth, the 4th of July, and all this other stuff, historically you can kind of tie it in there with slavery taking away people's, heritage and everything else. We can actually tie it into the actual conversation somewhat tonight as well, too. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and, I don't have anything personally against Dr. Boyce Watkins. I used to look at some of his stuff that he had online on YouTube and stuff like that. So I don't have anything personally against the man. I know, like you said, there's been accusations of scamming and this and that, which I'm not going to get into because I don't know the entire history of it or whatever. But just for what he was saying, the conversation, I just found that, and a lot of people found it to be, ironic that hey, even if you don't know your family's name, and like I said, there's people all throughout history, no matter what ethnic group or race that have come to this country, have changed their last names or didn't know their last name. You got people that grew up in orphanages and everything else, so I just found it ironic that he said, since 98% of us don't know it, basically, how can we say we're free? So I found that to be, somewhat different to say the least. But go ahead, Dana, real quick, and then I'm gonna...
Just a quick question. When he said we don't know our last name, meaning our original last name before what the slave master gave us? And if that's the case, did he say what his African or whatever his ancestors came from? Did he name his original last name?
See, that's a good question because I think Rella actually said that in the comments section. She said, "So is Watkins your original name?" I believe she said something to that line like it. So Watkins, that's your family's name. So yeah, he didn't say that. So I would guess he would be also including himself into that as well too. Be saying that, hey, if 98% of us, and I don't know who's the 2% that does actually know the family name and everything else. I don't know if he's talking about African immigrants. Well, they know their family name or whatever. But yeah, that's a great question right there.
Okay, yeah, that was it, and that's what I'm saying. The relevancy of him, but he does stuff. He does stuff for clickbait, and just another thing, just because you're on YouTube now. If you see someone with a large subscriber such as his, that doesn't mean that they have a large reach. It really doesn't mean anything, especially when you actually analyze his numbers, whether it's his lives or his uploads. But yeah, that's it. All I am right there.
All right. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. And everybody else that wants to speak tonight, y'all make sure y'all come up here. Who's that, Ray?
I was just gonna say real quick. I do have my last name, so I want to give it to y'all in the space, just so y'all know what it is. And my name is Professor X. There you go. Lost tribe in America. Professor X. There you go.
All right. Thank you, Professor X. Let me go ahead and get to DJ, then we're going to get to you, Ray, and anybody else that wants to speak, y'all go ahead and raise your hand. We want to hear what people got to say up in the conversation. So definitely, I see Trouble down there as well with the smiley face. I see my man Original got his hand, so Original, we'll get to you as well, too. But go ahead, DJ.
Let the folks go. You already know. I'm here, too.
Yeah, Ray, you go ahead, because I know sometimes you have some connection issues, too, so you got it, Ray.
What's up, everybody? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, just let me say one thing. King, you should add Tommy Sotomayor to the list too. There you go.
You know how much we don't hardly have no space to put all these people names in the headlines. That's the only bad thing about these Twitter spaces. You got it, Ray. What's up?
I'm gonna be real quick. Obviously, no matter what you say, people gonna do what they want to do. So at the end of the day, if you're gonna celebrate it, at least know the history. That's what I definitely say. Like today, I learned that Sally Hemingway, which was Thomas Jefferson's slave, I didn't know that she was actually the sister of Martha Jefferson, which was Thomas Jefferson's wife. So just little stuff like that, man. So if you're gonna celebrate, at least know the history behind it. The only thing is, I noticed with 4th of July, they want us to celebrate, but with Juneteenth, they were kind of denigrating us a little bit because I remember when the day of Juneteenth happened, a lot of people were saying, well, the only reason they gave black people this holiday so they have something to celebrate because Father's Day is in the same weekend. Just little shit like that. They got up those shots at us for no reason. But I land there.
All right, thank you, Ray. And I am said something interesting in the comment section. She was saying that next year for the 4th of July, and I didn't think about that either because we know when the 4th of July comes, depending on where you at, you have all the firework people coming in town and this and that or whatever. So next year for Juneteenth, y'all, we need to start going ahead and getting those fireworks out the same way as well too. That would definitely be something if you start having a bunch of black people, because trust me, a lot of black people spend money on them fireworks. Definitely. So definitely as Juneteenth come around, start getting the people out there with the fireworks and stuff like that, and start having the festivities around it as much as possible as well too. If it's truly what we consider like a Black Independence Day, try to treat it the same way that you would do the 4th of July as well too. So I am made a very good point on that as well too. Let me go ahead and kick it to Original. What's going on tonight?
Hey, peace, black power, and reparations. Well, I'm in agreement with Professor X that, Umar Johnson pay him really any attention because as far as I'm concerned, he has shown me, I can't speak for anything else, he has shown me he's an operative. When he came out with the attack on reparations, as if he, like he's going to say, what, all black people need to get a check, like need to get reparations, and no, because all black people were not enslaved in this country. And so this other thing that he has done, and this has shown me that he cannot be trusted, because as I said before, Dr. Onion Palmer, whom I knew when I lived in California, he founded the Marcus Garvey School down there on Slauson. It did not take him 20 years to start a school. And that school, the original school, was on Crenshaw in 54. And he transitioned some years ago. And to my knowledge, I think they still own all three of the buildings. One building on 54. They got two buildings on Slauson across from each other. And it doesn't take, and there are people who have started schools in their living room, on their front porch, and then they branched on out. It doesn't take that long to start a school. So I think he's just grifting black people. I don't pay him too much attention. Now, as far as Boyce Watkins, I applaud him for what he's trying to do with financial literacy and other educational opportunities that he's extended to our people. Unfortunately, I can't agree with this statement regarding we don't know what we're not free because we don't know our names. And I'm trying to figure out why all of a sudden are you throwing this out there, because it's like I'm looking at him kind of like as being an operative too. Because why are you attacking your own people? I thought you're supposed to be uplifting people and moving them forward, but you seem to want to attack them and get something started that doesn't need to get started. So I look at people like that because there are a number of people out on social media and other venues. They want you to follow what they say, and if you think for yourself and you have an opposing opinion, then they want to call you out because you don't agree with their stupidity. And I see that all the time. But and as far as knowing his name, because see, there's two books. There's one book. What's that book called? Unexpected Faces in ancient America. And it goes like to, like, I think it's back to like 1500 BC, if not older, where they found these artifacts and they stated that black people were already in this country. And when people traveled to this country, they talked about how they encountered these black people that they found. So the question has become now is that, and these people that they're calling the Native Americans, they came after the black people were here because, and I keep forgetting the email of this guy, but I got to find the book for it. There was a guy, he wrote a book as far as, I can't find the book right offhand now. My library is a mess. But he had stated that some of the people who they called Native Americans, they were complaining about something, about being attacked or something. So some people told them, they said, who are you to complain? They said there was people already here when you came here, and they were black, and you were attacking them. And so, I think, I think we have to begin to look at that and let our children know that we have to give them the true history, because these people who say they are Native Americans, they came well after we was already here. But I just can't agree with what Boyce Watkins is doing, because you're trying to cause strife within the group. And if you're doing that, that's what an operative does. They come in, they befriend you, they give you the perspective that, they're on your side and blah, 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 blah. And then next thing you know, they're doing something because maybe they have a large following or whatever, and they understand that the majority of people will continue to follow them. But I think I do follow him on Twitter, but I rarely see any of his posts. But I may have to click the unfollow button, because I think when we put up with stuff like this, then it gets really crazy. And as far as celebrating the Fourth, I call it the 4th of July, I don't take issue with anyone wanting to celebrate that. Now I will lean more towards Juneteenth, but I don't take issue with anyone who chooses to celebrate the 4th of July. Now, I used to celebrate it when I was younger, but as an adult man, I no longer do that. But I think people need to give people some breathing room when if they choose to celebrate. Because I tell you, my supervisor was looking at me because, I took off the whole week of Juneteenth. So this holiday come up, I took off the Friday before, and I don't go back to work until next Thursday, until Thursday. So I'm having a ball. And someone mentioned something about the white people and Juneteenth. Well, from my experience, I don't believe that they are happy to be off for Juneteenth. I think they are angry. Because they some beyond sick people. When I lived in California, and we would be off for Dr. King's birthday, the place I was working at Bank of America at the time, and these white folks, if it was any other holiday, hey, we off for Monday, whatever. Oh, we got a holiday, yeah. And when Dr. King's birthday came up, we off on Monday. And one year they had I think it was that Northridge quake, but it was a huge quake that took down some of the interstates. And some of the people, they lived out in these areas, like out near Palmdale and other places where the interstate collapsed. And they were still upset about being off of Dr. King's birthday. The man just saved your damn life. Because if they had came in those days, if we had came to work that day, some of them live out there and they had to leave for work early in the morning, so they could have possibly been on one of those interstates and it would have collapsed and they could have been killed. That doesn't matter. It is the hate that all these other groups have for black people, and somehow they can finagle some of these black immigrants who join in with them and dish out to us. But I don't think too many white folks really enjoy being off for Juneteenth, because they feel that we got enough as it is, and at least my experience, they wasn't happy being off for Dr. King's birthday. So if they're not happy for that, I don't believe they're happy for Juneteenth either. And I'll land with that.
All right. Thank you, original guys. Real quick, up on the Jumbotron, we have the Newstoter YouTube channel up in there. Let me see, go ahead and find that so I can point you guys in the right direction to where to go at for the YouTube channel. That is on the did I put the YouTube channel up there? Yeah. YouTube channel ain't up there, y'all. All right. Let me come back to the YouTube channel. Black Pressure, go ahead and I'll put the YouTube channel. Go ahead, Black Pressure. You there, Black Pressure?
I'm sorry about that. What's up, Black Fam? How's everybody doing?
What's up now?
News right, DJ. You know what it is. So I'm gonna ride with my brother original on this. I'll say, okay, yeah, we all know that about the disconnect to your ancestral heritage because of the transatlantic slave trade. But like original said, what's your point of fame? And even someone with the most elementary knowledge of Black history, we know that. So like I'll go back and say, what was his point of bringing that up? Did he just have a stick up his ass and he felt like saying that one day? We all know that. So I'll say this though, just a tidbit of history, that the way we look at last names is, I say, fairly new when you put it if you put it in contrast to human history, that the surnames, like we look at it, that's kind of a fairly new phenomenon, like having a last name that kind of took off in the, I want to say maybe the 15 to 1600s is when that took off, because it's the best example I can make. In the Black community, everybody, people have reverence and high esteem for the religious character Jesus, right? So Jesus actually did not have a last name. If you go back and look, like if he was living in America today, his name is Joshua. Jesus was the title, but his name would be Joshua if he was living in America today. The last names, before the way we looked at them, they identified the group or the bloodline of people that produced you. So he was like Jesus of Nazareth. He came from that tribe, that community. Or you got another popular person in Black history, Shaka Zulu. Zulu wasn't his last name, but the surname, that was the bloodline of people that produced him. He was Shaka from the Zulu people. So like I say, the way we look at last name is not the way it's always been. But I'll reiterate, I'm still at a loss why Boyce chose to highlight that when he did, and I'll mute up and listen.
All right, thank you, Black Pressure. I guess that's kind of almost too like and I know they'll give some pushback on that. Well, that wasn't, I don't know if that character was real, or that person was real, but Kunta Kinte, from my understanding, Kunta Kinte was supposed to be from the, I don't know if Kinte was the actual family name or whatever, but I get what you're saying as well too, because last names weren't always in place throughout history. I don't know exactly. I know you say you believe maybe the 15th century, but I'm not sure when it started to happen. And I'm sure when it did happen, I'm sure it didn't happen all over the world at the same time as well too. So, for the simple fact that we're talking about last names and this and that, some of the most famous people in history, at one time probably didn't have a last name. So I'm in agreement with you on that, Black Pressure, as well too, guys. Up in the and let me give a shout out to you, Black Pressure, for your contribution on Cash App. Up in the Jumbotron on the far left-hand side, we have the YouTube channel up there, guys. So if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel and you're in the space, please go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Help us grow, help us get larger, help us get a bigger YouTube base. So if you have not subscribed already to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe. But those that can support us, please think about making a donation on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. And we can only get larger if our people support us the way that we need to, the same way that the white public institutes have their their funding from the white folks. We need it from the black folks as well too. We always talk about black-owned business and supporting black-owned business. We definitely need that support in the black media as well too. So once again, that's $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. And for those that can, and if you want to become a Twitter subscriber, member for our membership here, it's $3 a month. You go to the profile page and subscribe to us that way. It's just $3 a month. Go to the Newstoter Twitter page, profile page, and you can go ahead and subscribe for just $3 a month, supporting us. So once again, that's just $3 a month. We have 5 subscribers. We're trying to go ahead and at least get 5 more by the end of this month. So let's see if we can get at least 1 subscriber tonight to go ahead and subscribe to us monthly, $3 a month. Once again, that's just $3 a month. Let me go ahead and get to DJ. DJ, I know you had your hand up, and let's get to some other speakers as well too, guys. We can only keep the space open as long as our people sitting up here talking as well. So we definitely want to have that conversation. I see my girl No Taxation is down here in the listener. I see I Am. We got a bunch of our people down here. So for those that want to speak, and for those who may not speak that much, I see Wells in Trouble. For those that just want to come in and just say whatever they want to say, is more. We'd be more than happy to have you guys come up here. You guys know we will give you the microphone and just let you go. So DJ, go ahead. You got it.
Everybody's saying, well, we agree to agree. You know how that is. Yeah, on the last name thing, I think last names is really just more of a new thing over the last 500 to 1,000 years because, when you got John, with the slaves, you're my son. So you get John's son, or you understand what I'm saying? A lot of these streets are named after just regular folks who had first names over in Europe, but came over here and created a last name based off the slave system as well too. You know what I mean? And just not just that, but to what's the word I'm looking for? To separate stuff and identify stuff as what I mean. Separate whatever how you want to need to separate. This is my property. This is Smith's over here. You know what I mean? Or the Johnsons over here, whatever the case be. So that's how a lot of us got our last names too, as well. So if you got one of these American last names, you need to research your history. So my last name carries a coat of arms over in Europe. Boyce Watkins, he's still owe black women money. Yvette Carnell, Boyce Watkins, Yvette Carnell, Paris Milan, and Michi X, still owe them money. You know what I mean? To this day, ain't nobody buying them flashcards because that shit ain't doing nothing mathematically for nobody. And 4th of July, Negro Americans fought in every war, so we can celebrate it how we want to. There you go.
I wonder, is there has anybody been to a Juneteenth festival so far yet? In the past couple of years, since it's become a federal holiday where you see the actual firework displays and everything like that. I know we have a number of festivals and events and everything like that, but really that is and I know fireworks seem trivial, but that is a major form of celebration as well too. So we got to start. I wonder how many black vendors, because I bought some fireworks last year from a black dude that I know that he had everything. He had the stuff that launched up in the air and exploded, everything that you can think of. So how prominent is that in some of these areas that we're having these actual Juneteenth festivals and everything else? Because we got to get to the point that we're starting to have more and more festivals, and we're starting to have some concerts, and we're starting to have the events that you need to go ahead and make it into an annual, a nice event and stuff like that. But we need to really start getting those fireworks out there as well too. Getting the kids involved. Kids, for the most part, they love the fireworks, and even the older people, they'll come out there and they'll sit out there and they'll look at them and everything like that too. So we got to start going ahead and trying to expand that a little bit more than what we're doing right now. Because right now, like I said, we're doing the festivals and, we're doing things like that. And that's a great way. And I understand that this is such a young holiday in terms of federally being looked at. And I'm not saying that you haven't had places in Texas and other states and cities and stuff that haven't recognized it. But in terms of it being catching the nation's attention and recognition, it's relatively young, So how can we really go about, like I said, getting it out there to the masses more so, and making it where people see like, oh yeah, well I can't wait. Yeah. We're going to be cooking out. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing, we got our fireworks already and this and that, because we got to start getting that black merchandise and stuff with the Juneteenth as well too. We see it's in its infancy, but we already see corporate America trying to go ahead and get a stranglehold on it as much as they can right now while it's still young. You see the Targets and the Walmarts, and you see all these other major Fortune 500 companies looking at it and say, how can we go ahead and shoehorn in there with our ice creams and this and all our little designs and our cups and our plates and stuff? How can we go ahead and pretty much, make this just like every other holiday in America commercialized where we are making the bulk of the money? What's up, DJ? You got it.
Ice Cube's contract with Black America. There you go. And as far as us doing our own thing, the problem is with a lot of these Black holidays, it's Pan Africanized. So that shout out to Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't want to go to that shit. I don't want to see no red RPG colors on a Black American nigga holiday. So it's like I'm not pulling up to that. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, yeah, I do agree with you that we need to. That us here in this room, and folks that are Negro Americans need to get a grip on our own holidays and start monetizing our own things. So with that being said, come up to social. You already know. SOXAIL.com or fundedsocially.com. Fundedsocially.com. And so that way we can start networking, building with each other, trying to monetize our content or whatever it is we're doing up there. That's the only way it's going to work is when we get over our tails and start really putting it together. You know what I mean?
See, like right now, and I guess too, the thing with the thing about it is that it's still it's a federal holiday, but most states don't recognize it. So we still have a bunch of states that still don't recognize Juneteenth. So yeah, so that's an issue. Like everybody, and it's not to say that you don't have people that have certain jobs that have to work on the 4th of July. We understand that, but it's still considered a national state holiday as well too. So a whole bunch of people that's in government or whatever. And just having regular jobs, if you're in retail or something like that, and different things, and yeah, you're working. Depending if you're in the medical field, yeah, you could be potentially working as well too. But a lot of people, millions of people, and they're letting off in my neighborhood. Like Juneteenth came around, it was quiet. Like you could hear a pin drop, and everybody's out there letting off right now. So that's what I'm saying, man. I guess it's just going to have to be one of those things too, as it gradually gets. And we know here in the South, it's going to take its time. In a lot of these Confederate type states, you got a lot of people a lot of these leaders, they don't want to piss the actual voting block off. So they don't want to go ahead and legalize it, make it a holiday, even though they know that, hey, you're giving these people a day off. They'll still, like Original said about that before, they'll still gripe and moan about that as well too. I remember one time I was working and you had somebody talk about, you had one of these white employees talk about that they were going to come in, they get caught up on some work. They were going to come in on Martin Luther King Day and work. And I'm like, now this person ain't never worked on no other major holiday like that, came in there, but you're going to come in on Martin Luther King holiday and you're going to come in here and get you some work in. And it just can't wait to the next day. It can't wait to that Tuesday. So you got to come in here and you're going to work regardless. Like that's the kind of, like when he's saying like the actual attitude, even though you letting these people know that, hey, you're going to have a paid holiday off and this and that or whatever, you're still griping about that. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, that's because white folks don't want to hear what it was their ancestors did. So you already know that. Because I had the same issues with my white friends. They don't want to hear these conversations. So, stay quiet and just keep your head down and do your work. You know what I mean? But let's not forget where Dollar Tree tried to pull, I believe it was summer of 2021. Hold up, I'm about to tag them. Hold up a second. Dollar Tree. Right here. Let's not forget, they was the first to try to capitalize along with Walmart. Juneteenth. And I know don't want the Jumbotron span, but I'm just going to put it up there so people can see it. So y'all remember they tried to pull that, you know what I mean? Or matter of fact, that was last year, May 2022. There you go. So they was having all this Juneteenth attire, you know what I mean, but in the Pan African color stuff. I don't want to celebrate this shit. For what, man? Everybody grifting, man. And then Walmart tried to pull their little doohickey with the Juneteenth ice cream. I forgot what I did with that little picture or whatever. But, to come to find out a white dude owned it, and he was trying to pretty much, what you call it, trademark Juneteenth as a flavor enhancer. So if anybody would have been selling anything Juneteenth, how do you know it ain't got the enhancing in it? You could have had your shit taken off the market, man. Damn, yo.
Yeah, that's crazy right there. They're not gonna stop with the Juneteenth thing as well too. That's why I'm saying that we really need to go ahead, and while it's in its infancy, you need to really go ahead. No, you're never gonna probably make the kind of money because they have the actual corporate backing, they have the dollars and everything else. But you can at least this can at least be one major holiday in this country that Black people can make a pretty substantial amount of money from. Christmas and all the rest of them. Let's be for real. Yeah, you can make some money off it, but you're not going to make anywhere near what the majority of these people are going to make. That's just how it is. Christmas is definitely American holiday, global holiday as well too. But you're never gonna be able to compete with these big retail businesses and everything else when it comes to Christmas. But right now, while this thing is in its infancy, definitely need to go ahead and look into it. And like I say, it's going to be. I know it's harder now too because you don't have the actual Christmas is a national holiday, and people are off Christmas and Thanksgiving, and you off the 4th of July. Easter, even though that's the one day that you're not off, which is kind of surprising. But Juneteenth, the only day that we could have like the kind of stuff we're talking about really is Martin Luther King holiday, and just that's not really happening right there. But Juneteenth could be. Maybe Juneteenth will get to that day. Well, like I say, it will be not only federally looked at, but statewide as well to national. And you can kind of start planning around it. But right now, at this point in time, I just see it's looking like a missed opportunity. I agree with Dr. Umar Johnson to the point that definitely go ahead and celebrate Juneteenth. I'm not going to tell a person what they can and cannot celebrate for the simple fact that a lot of people have the 4th of July is rooted in their family history, things that they do from the barbecues, the picnics, cookouts, the fireworks. Like I said, they letting off in my neighborhood right now. So like,
They're going off cross street issues.
yeah, they going off over here. Like, and they'll probably be going off over here for sometimes they be going off for a whole week after the damn thing is gone.
Now over here, try the rest of the summer. Yeah. The rest of the summer. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they not finna stop. And like I said, did y'all hear Professor? Did you hear any fireworks Juneteenth in your neighborhood or original? Did you hear any Black Pressure, Dana? Did you guys hear any fireworks for the Juneteenth weekend in your neighborhood? Go ahead, original.
I'm say no on that just to go ahead. I'm like,
I heard a few, but it wasn't like what I'm hearing now. It's like every few seconds, there's just a little spread that just went off your stand. They are going off heavily over here. So, but it wasn't on Juneteenth. I did hear some, but it wasn't what I'm hearing now because and I think, like you said earlier, a lot of Black people they still have this. I mean, they won't accept Juneteenth until white folks okay it for them. Some of them. But like DJ said, I think we need to really do a push and let the Pan Africans know, no, this is not a Pan African holiday. And I saw whereby you had a lot of the Black immigrants, they're trying to co-opt Juneteenth as big, but no, this is not. No, I don't have an issue with them coming and celebrating with us. The issue I take is when they're trying to use it to push their platform. When in fact, like I said, before, when the BBC put out a statement stating that Afrobeat had Black American influence, they came out, they were angry. They said, "Oh no, you don't. Y'all don't have any culture." And I posted. See, I have that 1969 album from Baylor where he met with these people in L.A. And when he came, they said he was playing Black American jazz. And they said, well, we thought we would hear something more authentic from you, being that you're from the continent. And he took what he got from them and incorporated into it. It was called Afrobeat, but then it became Afrobeats. And see, a lot of people on the continent, they don't know a lot of their own history, let alone ours. And for them to try to, chop up on us and say that we don't have anything, no, y'all don't have anything because see, they outnumber the enemy in their homeland, but they're still treated as if they're not citizens. The majority of the people are poor, and so you're gonna come here and talk about us? No. But I But I do think that we need to start pushing a little bit harder and letting people know that no, Juneteenth is not a global celebration. Juneteenth is a Black American holiday of freedom, starting with Galveston, Texas, and the rest of us, we included ourselves with the people in Galveston and called it Juneteenth. But no, this has nothing to do with Black people in any other part of the world. And I need people to understand. It's not that we're being divisive or anything, but show me where other Black people in the world include Black people in their celebration. They don't say we're celebrating as one. They say this is Caribbean festival or Nigerian whatever.
This is for Jamaica.
Say it again now.
This is for Jamaica. No.
Right, that's what they say. And even, you know what? And what you mentioned in Jamaica, guess what? Tom Brown, with that song Funky for Jamaica, they thought that song was about the island of Jamaica, but Tom, he said, I saw him in an interview, he said he would just go along with it because he wanted to be about music. It was about, I think it was about Jamaica Queen,
Oh, say that again, yo.
Tom Brown, who did, Funky for Jamaica, he said they would approach him saying, oh man, thank you for making a song about Jamaica. Yeah, man, cool. And Tom, he would just go along with it because he just wanted to make an album sales. I mean, the song, as DJ said, the song is fire. It's a hot song. But they thought it was about Jamaica, and they thought he was Jamaican, but he was born in America. So they don't know anything themselves. And I'm going to land on that.
Real talk. Thank you. But yeah, like Original said, like he heard a few, like hell, they in my city, they weren't selling any fireworks around Juneteenth. Like the fireworks started coming in maybe a week after Juneteenth left out is when you start seeing a few. Mainly it was like maybe last week is when I started seeing more fireworks rolling in town and stuff like that. But there was no firework trucks around like for Juneteenth whatsoever. So if you want to go ahead and shoot it off or get some or whatever, now only time I see fireworks displays around town is 4th of July and of course New Year's. That's it. So that's just something too that's something that we need to go ahead and some Black people with the license and stuff that can go ahead and sell the fireworks. That's one way we can actually beat the actual system right there. Like we don't have to worry about the main folks bringing in the fireworks or whatever. As long as we got our people that's actually licensed and stuff like that, they can go ahead and come into town and they can set up shop and actually sell it to our people. And then if they want to stick around and come back 2 weeks later for the 4th of July, then they can make money that way as well too. So that's one way of getting a leg up on the competition. Go ahead, DJ.
Well, don't forget fireworks are illegal in the hands of consumers for the most part, depending on the level of firework. You know what I mean? They're trying to make it illegal for you to possess it. You know what I mean? Because of a lot of the just personal injuries that have happened over the years. For example, Jason Pierre-Paul of the Giants, he blew his damn finger off and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
But I'm saying you got some vendors that can actually sell. You can get a vendor's license, I'm sure.
Right. But in your community, you should check your ordinance over there. If you go in your town and your state, if you personally are allowed to have any specific type of fireworks. So, you got to check your ordinance. You know what I mean? I ain't here to tell anybody else. I just fuck people on around here.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's a cat from Alabama that comes here to Florida, bro, and be selling this. I mean, he comes with like trailers load of this stuff right here. Like
I was just gonna say, so did you watch that newscast about that what you call it thing, public storage that got burned down because the jokers had about $2 million worth of fireworks in it?
Yeah, I remember you was telling me about. I didn't see it, but you
burned down the whole ones. You know how them public storage is like a little maze lot. It burned down like one whole section of the public storage, along with other people's personal possessions. So I know the insurance bill on that one gonna be crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you said, I'm not telling people to just go out and get a bunch of illegal. No, well, anything like you said, you got to check the city ordinances and everything like that. And certain certain type of fireworks you can't even sell depending on where you live at and stuff like that. So definitely check that up. But I'm saying that is one thing that we can have our own. If there's people selling fireworks, and I know in most of these states that we live in, there are people selling them, then we need to go ahead and get it where we can get black people selling them beforehand, getting their license as well too, where they're legal. Got to make sure that it's legal. But instead of us having to wait, because let's be for real, 90% of people selling these fireworks, and I'll say in most cases, 98, 99% of them are white. So let's go ahead and start getting to the point where we can get some black people selling it. And, like I said, because right now they don't have anything available around the Juneteenth weekend. When the Juneteenth weekend rolls in, I don't remember seeing any, and because whenever my city, there's always, when 4th of July, New Year's, there's always a ton of damn fireworks stands all throughout the city. I didn't see any during Juneteenth. Yeah, these boys, they letting off right now. Like I said, they gonna be going all. They going off.
Yeah, the cats right here on my block though. I don't know what the fuck they must save up for this shit, yo. Because every year for like the last decade, man, they go crazy. Once the 4th of July come around, it's just day and night and day letting off fireworks, yo. You know what I'm saying? The police come say something to them. They could be right back at it about an hour later and shit, 2 or 3 in the morning, letting off fireworks, yo.
Hey, let me read this comment real quick from Muriel on YouTube. Shout out to Muriel. She says, I don't have to go anywhere to see fireworks. Just stay in my front yard and look up. Hispanics are at it. They've been going off since Thursday. It's not fireworks. They're cannonballs. She said, I feel sorry for the dogs and the cats. Yeah, those dogs in particular be going crazy when they be letting them damn fireworks off. So yeah, a lot of people got to put their dog in a room or take them somewhere because they can't take all that firework explosion and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's a market that's been missed out on. It's a market that, like I say, we got to go ahead and start, since they already commercialized it, it's time for black people to go ahead and start taking advantage and actually reaping the benefits of something, especially something that's supposed to be quote unquote for you or whatever. I know when anytime it's for black people, something specifically for black people, and black people are supposed to actually benefit from something, or it's something about them, then sooner or later it becomes this whole we are the world. And well, it ain't just for because you like everybody's saying with the Pan-African thing. I don't have an issue with anybody, any ethnic group celebrating their heritage, having a holiday or whatever. I have no issue with that. But like I say, I know when if it's something for black people, and all of a sudden it'll be like, well, it's everybody's holiday. Like you can't sit up here and St. Patty's Day and sit up here and talk about it's everybody's holiday. The Irish gonna straighten you on that and let you know, like, no, you're more than welcome to come to the pub with us and get you something to drink and this and that or whatever. But this is our holiday. So Professor, go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't remember hearing any fireworks around Juneteenth, and of course, where I live at, it's a predominantly Caucasoid town anyway. 82% of them and 20% of us here, and then of course you bring in these Hispanics. So we got quite a few Hispanics that are starting to show up here now. But as far as Juneteenth, I didn't hear anything, and but I do think we need to start doing something. I think we do need to start getting in on this, like you said, Toto, on this fireworks thing. We do need to make some money off of it. This is a day that we need to be making our money, not letting other groups make money off of our day.
Hey, shout out to my man Carlos. I saw Carlos. He put in the comment section. He said, I hate fireworks. It triggers my PTSD. So shout out to you, Carlos. I'm sorry about that. I know not everybody, a lot of people, even though, like I say, the kids and the younger folks and, a lot of families, they like it and it's a tradition or whatever. Not everybody enjoys it as well, too. So shout out to you, Carlos. I know if you have an issue with PTSD, that's probably not the easiest thing. And I'm not exactly sure how you go about just trying to remain as cool and calm as possible, but like definitely thinking about you, brother, because I know like that can be that can be something to deal with. So I'm definitely thinking about you on that. Professor, I know you were going to say something too. Go ahead.
Nah, I was just gonna say, Carlos, brother, I feel you, man. Shit, cause hell, just daily life in America triggers my PTSD. Shit, that's the bullshit that we have to deal with in this country, man. So that right there does it for me. The fireworks, that does play some part in triggering some of my PTSD too. But daily life in America, man, is what does it for me. Looking at the different videos that happen to our people, just everything that you have to deal with in this country is what triggers my PTSD.
And Muriel on YouTube says, Carlos, go buy the silicone earplugs. They are the best. Says Rite Aid sells them, and so does Walmart. So, Carlos, if you get a chance, and I can't verify, but Muriel is saying that the silicone earplugs, that I guess they're pretty effective for the noise and stuff like that as well, too. So if you get a chance, go ahead and definitely buy it. And Professor, when you were saying that 82% of your city was black, Muriel talked about, believe me, give it 5 years and all the whites will be gone. So, Muriel, are you saying that all the whites in his city will be gone? Because 82% is kind of hard to knock that number off. If it's 82% white, I don't think 82% white is going to disappear in 5 years. So, are you talking?
Too many are moving in here, man. That's the thing, man. A lot of caucasoids are moving into this town because of the fact that it's a very conservative town. And it is predominantly white, where some of these other areas that surround this area here, like Montgomery, for instance. Montgomery, which is the capital city, has now become a majority black city. It's mostly black. White people from Montgomery have flooded these outlying areas like Prattville, Wetumpka, Elmore, Millbrook. These are some of the areas, y'all, that I'm naming, which these areas make up what they call Target County and Elmore County. These areas are all considered 82% caucasoids, okay? They have flooded these areas to get out of the capital city of Montgomery. So I'm just letting you know, because Montgomery is pretty much a black city, like Atlanta over there. That's what Montgomery has become. Montgomery has become like what Atlanta is over there in Georgia. So this is the thing that caucasoids do, y'all. When they see that something is becoming pretty much all black, they're gonna get the hell up out of there. See, that's what they do. And they keep running, but then we always find a way back to them for whatever damn reason. I don't know why black Americans can't understand, man. We don't need to be up under these motherfuckers. We need to just be building up our own and separating and making sure that we build up our own and trying to protect our own communities. But no, what we do, they'll move somewhere, right? The caucasoids will move, and then we'll go flooding right in behind them. I don't understand it. It's just the craziest thing to me. But anyway, I'm going to land right there.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Last night I was letting off myself. Like, I was outside and we didn't have to worry about the competition. Got some cousins and stuff going tonight. They were trying to get me to come back over there. I'm like, nah, enough was enough last night. But we was letting off last night. I spent about $200 some on the damn fireworks, and we just lighting the sky up. Just hey, it was cool. Everything was straight out there except the damn mosquitoes was tearing us up. But outside of that, everything was cool and everything was fine. But I give it to them yeah, they like my people like to do it a couple nights in a row, but I'm like, nah, we hung out and everything today, but all that back to back after a while, that's enough. Like, yeah, I was out there long enough, and they letting off in the daytime, they letting off in the nighttime, and like I said, we need to go ahead and get this going for Juneteenth as well too. And Professor Muriel said, once the Hispanics move in, forget it. Like, Muriel, I don't think, like I said, 82%. She says everywhere black people are the white people move in, and when the Hispanics wait and see. My area is mostly white. 30 years later, I see 3 black families in my area, all Hispanic. So I don't know. He lives in Alabama too, Muriel. So I don't think Alabama gonna turn all Hispanic overnight.
No, it's going to take a while, Miriam, before it happens. They are moving in here, but this is why we need black Americans to be making the moves to these areas. Now, the black majority state he talks about this in his spaces, y'all. So make sure you check out his spaces on Saturday nights. I think 8:30 his time, 8:30 Eastern time, or I forgot how that goes. I guess 8:30 his time, and then of course that would be 7:30 my time. I'm in Central time. So, but
Professor Mira say she's in California, so that's a difference too. So yeah, you in Bama, she in California, so it's a big difference.
Oh yeah, California been taken over, Miriam. You need to move. Come to Alabama, or come to Georgia, South Carolina, Maryland, Delaware. These are the places that you need to be trying to get to, Miriam. You're gonna be isolated out there in California. My family, I had family members that just moved from out there that come back to Alabama. They here in Alabama now. They told me that the Hispanics have taken that place over out there. And see, Black Americans not going to stand a chance out there because for one, look at the rise in prices on everything, the high ass rent. I mean, you're not going to be able to survive out there for real. Shoot, because they trying to get you guys up out of there. All them tent cities out there, and we see Black Americans in tent cities, like they all over the damn tent city. That's all I really see is us.
She said, Professor, she said she's moving to Houston. She's retired, and that ain't no better either now. So
no, that's Hispanic too. They gonna take that shit over too over there in Texas. Y'all need to get the hell up out of Texas, California, all of that western side of the country. Black Americans need to get over there. Okay, you need to come on over to the east and the south, if that makes sense. The east and the south. Even for the Black Americans that are up there in Detroit, they need to get the hell up out of there too. Because an 8 Mile redneck's gonna take you over up there too. So anyway, you need to come on down here, and that's what I'm saying. We got the gatekeep down here, Miriam. That's why we need y'all over here. And I'm pretty sure once we get most of our people here, we can get majority power in maybe a few of these states. See, that's very important. You want to get majority power in these states, get majority state authority, so we can actually make changes. I'm gonna land my plane right there because we'll say that for a Saturday night in a Black majority state space.
Let me go ahead and get to original real quick, guys. Like I say, for those that want to donate on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We need the support of our people, guys. So $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. If you don't believe me, go visit Newstoter.com. Visit Newstoter.com. You should be visiting that anyway daily. So if you don't have Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal up in the Jumbotron, and if you want to become a member, a subscriber to Newstoter here on Twitter, it's just $3 a month. Go to the profile page, and click subscribe. It's just $3 a month, but we do need the support of Black people to go ahead and sustain the actual content that we're putting out. Go to the profile page and see the amount of content, the amount of tweets, the amount of newsworthy articles that were put out today. Definitely, like I said, $Newstoter, Newstoter for those that can support. And we're just looking for anybody that can make a donation of $1 or $2. That is more than appreciated. Once again, $Newstoter, Newstoter. If you have $1 or $2 that you can spare, it will be put to use and it is greatly appreciated. Let me go ahead and get to original. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
So I want to say what Professor X said is true. Black people need to start moving back to the South. I mean, like ASAP. Because I tell you, the house I'm in is like it's a 3-bedroom, and I have a basement. I have 3 bathrooms, and I have a huge basement, and I paid like $139 for this house. And two houses, east of me, that house went for it was over $400,000. I'm not far from the old Bronner Brother house, which is sold for $250, and the people who bought it and refabbed it, the house sold for over $650,000. So it would behoove you to hurry up and move back to these southern states, as Black majority been saying, because the property values are going to continue to go up. They may go down a little after whatever go on with this inflation or whatever. But I would suggest that I got in at the right time, and my house, I could get 400 for my house if I were to sell it. I'm not looking to sell. And let me tell you just how great this neighborhood is. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but one of my neighbors, she just transitioned about a month ago, but she lived in her grandparents' home, which is like a few houses east of me. But when this used to be the white side of town, I'm in Southwest Atlanta. And so her grandparents purchased this home from these white folks, and somehow they developed a rapport with these white folks. And they would come back periodically and visit her grandparents. And she told me that on one of the visits, when these white people came to visit, they said, I think we made a mistake because the neighborhood was still well kept. That old lie about when black folks move in to run your property value down, that's a lie. And I think they was kind of sick that they moved because they saw that the people that lived here, they kept their property up, which a lot of us do. Now there are some black people, just like there are some low trailer trash white folks that don't keep up their property, But I will say that it would behoove black people who are planning to move. I would say it would be in your interest to speed up that move and get it on back down Southwest. And I land with that.
All right, appreciate that original. What's going on? I see Brooke is over there in the actual in the YouTube chat. Brooke, what's going on? Brooke, we did publish that article today of yours, so definitely we published the actual article and we tweeted it out, Brooke. So yeah, it's definitely on Twitter. You're hearing what you're hearing, Brooke, as actual fireworks. It is fireworks central over here in my neighborhood. So I do apologize. I know everybody on YouTube can definitely hear that, but yeah, they going they're going crazy over here with the fireworks. So it is what it is tonight. It is what it is. Is there anybody that wants to say something? We're not gonna keep the space going too much longer. I know everybody's kind of been a little bit quiet tonight, so we're not gonna push the issue. So if nobody wants to speak, then we ain't gonna force the space to stay open that long. This is one space where we try to go ahead and get everybody involved that wants to speak. So for those that don't want to speak, we definitely understand that as well too. I see Rella coming up here, so see what Rella's got going on tonight. Rella, what's up? What's up, Rella?
What's up, brother? Hey, brothers, how are you?
We're doing good. Are you popping some fireworks or something?
No, but they popping a lot of them for me, so I didn't really have to spend no money. We used to actually go down to like North Carolina, South Carolina, and get them big boys. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
But I haven't done that in a long time, so I look forward to doing that in the near future with a lot of people. Once we get these Black majority states migrations happening, and look, people have to understand migration patterns are going to take some time, but we need to have an end goal. And we need to have an end goal in mind. We do a lot of that work and a lot of that, a lot of those discussions over on Fundedly Social. So if you're not on Fundedly Social, please think about getting an account. I want to say happy 4th of July to all of the colored soldiers, those who did not get a chance to complete the mission as they took up arms to fight against the British alongside of people who kept our people in bondage. July 4th, 1776. I praise the families of the descendants who keep that energy and momentous of reinvigorating the histories in the United States alive. It is important for us to uncover those things and to invoke what patriotism really looks like. Because to be honest with you, our ancestors were not supposed to survive, and they survived so we could be here. So we are the true embodiment of what patriotism looks like. Umar Johnson, You have to catch me up on what he said on this discussion, and if not,
Umar, I'll tell you real quick. What Umar said was basically celebrate the celebrate Juneteenth and don't celebrate the 4th of July.
So, and to an extent, I can partially see why he's saying that, because our ancestors were enslaved. 1776, when Paul Revere was yelling down the street, the British are coming, the British are coming. The problem is Paul Revere wasn't by himself. There was a man named Mark Coleman that people don't even know. He was the enslaver, that he was the enslaved descendant that actually rode alongside, warning the people in Boston that the British were coming, because they saw their asses coming off the hills, over the hills. And I want to say this to you. People who tell the partial story of our story, be mindful of them, because there's a caveat to understanding the complexities of our history. We can celebrate Juneteenth because Juneteenth is as part of our historical mapping to this country in regards to the enslaved that were freed down in Galveston and around the country by way of the Union soldiers. And those Union soldiers were freedmen soldiers that were given their freedmen to fight forcefully, excuse me if I may say that. But during the Revolutionary War, our people were enslaved, and they were still able to fight and actually win the freedom of the United States. People don't read that history. The Revolutionary War was about to be lost had it not been for our ancestors. So I can see why he says celebrate Juneteenth, but I'm going to celebrate the 4th the way I choose to, and the way I choose to is that is empowering and making sure my ancestors and the people around me, my descendants, or the people who are descendants and people coming into this country, understand that in all wars, the United States only won because they had the embodiment of the slave power in all aspects. So, Pan-Africans will tell you half truths, and they won't tell you the whole truth. And that's just on GP. Boyce Watkins, in that whole name situation, he said 98% of Black people don't even know their last name. That's a bold-faced lie. And I'm gonna say mine right here on this space, on your platform right now. I come from the Swearington household. I come from the Howard household, the Tatum household, the Smith household, the Richards household. Those are the names of my people. And so when I say those names because I honor my family lineage. I regard my family lineage. And if he doesn't know his name, which is, I made the statement under his post, well, who gave you the last name Watkins? Regardless if you're going to say, well, that's a slave last name, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Them names meant something to our ancestors. And if you want to keep going back and find out who your tribal name is and all of this, that's your right. But I'll be damned if somebody going to be ignorant and has a PhD up here in these streets and decide that they're going to dictate yet again, the measurement on how Black people have to be honorable about our own history in the United States. It's some bull. And I'm tired of the puppeteering that keeps happening. No, if he don't know and he don't recognize that his last name was held through his family and they did something with it, and he himself is a PhD scholar, professor supposedly, I'm gonna question them credentials. I'm gonna question whether or not he's someone that can lead a people out of a burning building and build another, and build another so that we can protect it. I'm not doing it. We're not playing these wars that people seem to psychotically go in and out of when they feel like it. So that's it. That's it. What it is.
All right, thank you, Rella. Let me give a shout out to Muriel for your donation on PayPal. Let me ask you something real quick, Rella. You said I don't know if you made a mistake, but you said the Revolutionary War. You meant to say the Civil War.
No. So the Revolutionary War would not have been won in 1812 had not have been for the population of the people who were enslaved at the time. And then the Civil War, 1776, would not have been won. Maybe that's what I missed. Would not have been won had it not been for the Union soldiers. So, and that was for World War II. So I want to caution, and maybe I probably missed that piece. You know, my brain does run real fast, and I try to slow down. In all the wars that the United States had, they would not have been won had it not been for our ancestors. So white people can only champion but so much when it comes to the degeneracy and the conditions that were that impacted us. But we can have honor in the fact that we actually solidified the win for these wars. The Harlem Hellfighters were a badass regiment, and they was a badass regiment for a reason. Excuse my French. I will be streaming the 24th. If you follow on Fundedly Social right after your space, Newstoter, I'm going to play the 24th. So if the family wants to come over and watch the movie with us, it's going to be streaming through Fanbase, but I'm going to put the link in social. So you have to come over to social to get the link to follow me on Fanbase. And I just wanted to say that.
All right, thank you. Because I know, because I was like, did she say? I didn't know if you had misspoke. Because I was like, did she say the actual Revolutionary War? Because we always say that black people were the difference makers in the actual with actual difference makers in the actual Civil War, but they really you never really hear people say much about the actual Revolutionary War. Even though we know that you had a number of blacks that fought on the side of England, as well as you had a number of blacks that actually fought on the side of the actual colony as well too. So I was just making sure I heard that correctly. Let me go ahead and kick it to Dana. Let me give a shout out to Original. Thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Let me go ahead and get to Dana. Dana, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah. She said something that made me think. When she was talking about Boyce Watkins with the last name, which goes to my original point to where he's so irrelevant right now, and this is why, because he's really ignorant, and he has a PhD, but a PhD means nothing. You just teach to have people understand probably finance, but he's not. He doesn't have any experience or expertise in actually being a financial planner. He has no hands-on experience. With that said, with his ignorance, and he's live right now on YouTube with more stupidity, the last name, that is very insulting, because a lot of black people who walked off the plantations, whether it's in 1862 or after Juneteenth 1865, changed their last name. They given a last name by whatever plantation or master, and they didn't want to keep that. They intentionally changed their last name. So to say that black people don't know their last name is pure bullshit. First of all, my last name came from England, and that's where that person came from here. But on my father's mother's side, great grandfather, whatever, walked off the plantation, and we could trace back to that plantation in Georgia. And he changed his last name from that plantation owner, which it was given to him. And this is all documented. I don't know the name offhand. I have to call up my older cousin. But he changed his last name from that plantation name that was given to him, and chose another last name, Armor, which is in existence today, which carried on from generation to generation. So for him to say that is pure bullshit, because we know our names. A lot of black people either kept the name that was given to them, and they could still trace back. Some people could trace back with 23andMe and, the ancestry, some mess or whatever. They could trace back exactly where it came from, or whatever country or whatever, or tribe. However, a lot of people change their name, and that is verbal history that is passed down from generation to generation. So even though we didn't have financial wealth passed down to us, we had our story and our lineage, and our fight for freedom passed down, that narrative. So, and every person has a story. So that is totally disrespectful to say that we don't even know our names, when I could literally tell you I do know my name and the origin where it came from. And a lot of Black people in my family particularly intentionally changed their last name because they wanted to get rid of the name that was forced upon them. And he wanted to feel like a man to provide for his family and give his family the last name that he wanted. So, and I'm going to land with that.
Guys, in the Jumbotron, I put Brooks' article, it's on the left-hand side. Please go ahead and retweet that article out real quick. The space ain't going to be going much longer, but go ahead and retweet Brooks' article out. Get a chance to go to the actual site and read it. She went ahead and she wrote an article, and we went ahead and put it on the actual site, even though, we do the curation. I wanted to go ahead and put the sister, because she's always been a supporter of Newstoter, so I wanted to go ahead and put the sister's actual article on the website. So like I say, that is in the Jumbotron on the far left-hand side. It has 5 retweets already. Go ahead before the space goes out, and let's see if we can get at least 5 to 10 retweets with everybody in the space. Let's see if all of the co-hosts and the speakers, listeners can go up here real quick and go up in the Jumbotron and just retweet that out. And when you get a chance, go to the actual site and read the actual article that she actually wrote as well too. The article is titled "Affirmative Action wasn't banned. It just doesn't apply to you." So definitely go ahead. And she put out a nice article. Go ahead and click that. Go ahead and retweet it out. For those that can, I'm going to give you guys a minute. Let's see how many of our people actually support. I'm just going to sit up here and see how many people actually go ahead and actually retweet this article out that the sister took time to actually write and that we publish. This is black content right here at its finest, being supported by Black people. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give everybody a second to go ahead and just go up in the actual Jumbotron and retweet that out. And when you get a chance after the space, you can go ahead. It's a brief article. It's not that long. You can go ahead and actually read the entire article and come back to Twitter and drop a comment what you think about it as well too. So shout out to Brooke. She does a lot of work outside of the Twitter sphere and off of social media. So definitely shout out to that sister as well too. So definitely go ahead. Like I said, I'm gonna give everybody another minute or two to go ahead and just, good Lord, they letting it off over here too. Give everybody I'm like, damn, bro. Like they letting off over here, boy. Like these jokers gonna be going like 12, 1 o'clock, still going strong over here. I already know it, but definitely, like I say, go up there and support Brooke. Go ahead and retweet that out. We like to go ahead and support our people as well too. So there's been a number of articles that we went ahead and put on the actually, like I say, curation is our thing. But every now and then we will go ahead and try to help our people. If they have something, go ahead and post it on there as well too. So curation is the name of the game with Newstoter. But we will definitely go ahead and try to when we have our people, and they're trying to do something, we will definitely go ahead and try to do that as well too. So shout out to Miss Brooks Sinclair as always. Shout out to Miss Brooks Sinclair. Yeah, y'all. Tomorrow night we have another space. Dane, I talked to Judge Joe. His birthday's tomorrow, so we're gonna try to set something up with Judge Joe next week to actually get him up in the space as well too. So definitely we'll be trying to coordinate with something with Judge next week, because I know his birthday's tomorrow, Thursday. I'm not gonna be able to do it either, so we'll go ahead next week and try to set something. So guys, keep your fingers crossed. We're gonna try to go ahead and have the Honorable Judge Joe Brown back up in the Newstoter Twitter space. So definitely, guys, keep an eye out on that as well too. Of course, you guys know we will go ahead and we will tweet out the actual we will go ahead and tweet it out. And we didn't get one subscriber tonight for the YouTube channel, guys. So that's another thing. Before the space goes out, and I know everybody might say, I already subscribed, but if you didn't subscribe, go ahead and subscribe too. That's on the left-hand side, the third on the left-hand side. Click the link, go to YouTube, and press subscribe. And not only if you subscribe, if you've already subscribed, guys, make sure you click the notifications, because it's true what they say. YouTube actually does not send out the notifications as well too. So I look at the analytics, and a very small amount of people actually know about the damn notifications. So I definitely, when you click it, make sure you guys are clicking the notification. That's for everybody on the YouTube right now, guys. Make sure y'all click those notifications, because y'all know when we do these Twitter spaces, we're gonna actually also live stream at the same time too. So normally we'll go on about 8:05, 8:10 normally for the actual YouTube. But definitely go ahead and click the notifications, because these jokers are not damn letting people know about what's going on. And I believe also on Twitter, either the massive amount of content that we put out, I don't believe they're letting the notifications go out here as well either. So a lot of people sometimes don't even see some of the content that's being posted daily by Newstoter, putting out like 35 to 40 articles a day easily. So go ahead, Rella, you got it. And shout out to Brother Moko. I see you up in the space. Shout out to you, my boy. What's going on with you?
Hey, Brother Mo. Okay, so I want to clear up something. I was right. So when we're talking about July 4th was during the Revolutionary War. And I think maybe this is where we need to clear up some things. The Revolutionary War, April 19th, this is the American Revolutionary War. April 19th started 1775, ended 1776. And the Civil War was 1861 to 1862, 63. And then in 1864, of course, they started going down the path of trying to talk about how to free slaves, blah, blah, blah. And then 1865, the 13th Amendment was ratified. We, I think, have been so perpetually guided into the mistakings of the wars ourselves that we don't have the correct date. So so that's the reason why I went to the Revolutionary War. So I think we need to realize during the Revolutionary War, the independence that took place, July 4th, 1776, was independence from Britain. That was why, we had the Declaration of Independence. That was the Second Continental Congress who passed that Declaration of Independence. And that was not for everybody at that time. Our people were still in bondage. So I wanted to just clear that up and make sure that, everybody has that information. And look, this is the reason why, again, history spaces are important. People getting into historical organizations so that we get to recast what the narrative looks like and why it is that we are so displaced with information. And then I'll end there.
All righty. Thank you, Rella. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else has anything that they want to say real quick? So we got somebody requesting to come up. Is that Najee? Najee will go ahead and let you get it in. Najee, did you want to say something?
Before you close out, I just wanted to with the previous speaker was saying, so I mean, one thing that has been done to us is basically we have to really come to the realization that white people lie, and I know most people know that, but a way that they lie is by omitting. And there's a guy, Gus T. Renegade. He came up with the acronym MOOC. MOOC. So it's basically they minimize, they obfuscate, and they omit. So when they obfuscate, they say things and they're not really clear. They've minimized our country, and they omit information. So if people are presenting information that's factual, but they're also omitting facts, they're lying. So omission is lying. Boyce Watkins, I'm trying to get out of the mode of just kind of like, arguing with like powerless black people. And you know what I'm saying? So I mean, he can put out tweets that I disagree with, and I just more or less keep scrolling. But we also have to just basically recognize patterns And I put on my Twitter, I said that, like Boyce Watkins has always been center right. There was a woman that he used to have up on his show, and you can go on YouTube and Google it. And it seems like he scrubbed his YouTube of this woman, but it was a woman, white woman. Her name was the Princeton Mom. I suspect that this woman was a racist, but he would interview her often. You know what I mean? So I always have to basically put that in context. The people that, Boyce Watkins has presented to us, some has been, very suspect, very problematic. But that woman just kind of like stuck out to me, and I forgot about her. And the Cows did an interview with her. If you go on my Twitter, if you scroll down my line, I put that interview on my Twitter, just to give you an understanding of the people that he would have on his channel and he would interview. So it's really not surprising, like some of the things that Boyce says. I'm happy that Black people didn't really get too up in arms with the whole affirmative action thing, and that was another example of just lying. You know what I mean? I kind of had to tune out with the lies, because they made it seem like, these Ivy League colleges was just going to the corner liquor store and just recruiting Black students. You know what I mean? But at the expense of Asians. Never forget that there was a white man behind this. So the Asians were showcased, but there was really white financiers behind this whole thing. The omission of it all, the fact that white women has been the greatest beneficiary of affirmative action, definitely don't let that get lost. So, it's going to be an uphill battle. So even though it looks like, I think that we have been taking setbacks, you know what I'm saying? But, I really deep down in my heart see great victories coming ahead. And Claude Anderson, I remember him speaking, and he said that we need to do away with affirmative action. We need to do away with the lies of programs or policies that was put in place to uplift us when they really were. So, good riddance to affirmative action. And hopefully there'll be a movement where, it only takes a spark when we talk about Juneteenth. Just, somebody, a group of people in one of these cities, one of these states, one of these towns that, can basically put together a great festival. And, and maybe, that's where we can just basically get a spark and a jump and really make Juneteenth what it needs to be, like a celebration of Black freedom. As far as last names, like, we are who we are. We don't have to. I just really don't understand why we are the ones that have to go back 5,000 years to be a whole people. I see Jamaicans with the last name Brown. Nobody ever questions them. If you go to Brazil, Afro-Brazilians have Portuguese last names. Dominicans have Spanish last names. But it's just kind of like this whole, like, Black people in America, we just have to be this perpetual lost tribe of nomads. Like, I really don't get it. But I'll close.
All right. Thank you, Najee. Appreciate you, brother. We go ahead. I'm gonna get to Black majority state and then Rella, and then I guess we're gonna go ahead and close it out for the night. Black, how you doing?
Hello, sir. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome. Shout out to everybody in the space, and I want to salute all the military veterans in the space, all the Black American military veterans. I just wanted to support what Ms. Rella was saying, so I did put some of my previous posts down in the chat, and this one is just a quick chronological of some of our Black regiments. 1770, regiment called the Black Patriots. 1775, Ethiopian Regiment, even though this was a U.S. American regiment. 1776, the Black Brigade. 1778, 1st Rhode Island Black Regiment. 1785, Black Loyalist. 1862, the 1st South Carolina Infantry. 1863, the 54th Massachusetts. And 1866, Buffalo Soldiers. In the one article, it gives the 10 highlights of Black Patriots in the American Revolution. And yes, all of those units were integrated. And yes, we did fight in all of those wars, specifically the American Revolution. And without us, they would not have won, because we had some of us who went on the British side, they were the Black Loyalists, and then we had those who fought in the Continental Army. And in fact, Washington didn't want us fighting in the Continental Army, and so there were a lot of court cases about it. There were a lot of back and forth about it. There were enslavers who were cowards who would send their enslaved, our ancestors into battle in place for themselves or their sons. And so there's like historical documentation of those fights even. But we were there. We did fight, and we did tip the balance in favor of the United States of America. So shout out to our ancestors on this holiday.
All right. Thank you, Black. Appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get to Rella. Rella, let me go ahead and get to you. Then we're going to get to I Am, and we're going to get to Brother Muku, and that's going to be the speakers for the night. Go ahead.
I want to I just wanted to make it clear, affirmative action has not been removed. It was gutted to state that it's unlawful for colleges to take race into consideration as a specific factor in admissions. All they did was change the language in the bill that the Supreme Court is still upholding. But I want to I make people aware of something. Prior to the ruling, affirmative action was banned at public colleges and universities in 9 states. California banned the practice of affirmative action 25 years ago. Arizona, Florida, Idaho, Michigan, Nebraska, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, Washington also previously banned the practice. And when we talk about practices of things, this is the reason why we say that it's not enough for us to just know, I think, one particular thing. Is to know what has the impact been. The impact has been that affirmative action did what it was supposed to do, but it allowed other groups of people to get in and create a double minority for the people it was intended for, which shout out to Brooke in the article that she wrote. It was never intended for them other groups. And they got in on the backs of, again, something that was intended for our repair. That is a footnote for us to be wary, even when we are fighting for reparations, doing our homework and getting prepared for the migration conversation, that we realize that we need people who are going to make sure that when they are passing legislation in their assemblies, bills need to be constructed strictly for the repair of the American descendants, the freedmen people, the Negro, the ADOS, the FBA, the whatever you are falling under the branch of lineage, that legislation must be for the sole purpose of our group. And I land.
All right. Thank you, Rella. Let me go ahead and get to I Am. I Am. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Peace, power, and reparations, family. Sorry I'm coming in so late. I've been working on this Ancestry.com. They got 50% off until tomorrow. Hey, if anybody wants to get on there, it's 50% off. Just trying to figure this out. Still trying to locate my mother's side. My mother was adopted, so she's not giving up any information. But so I'm still trying to figure this out. As far as Dr. Umar Johnson, I agree with what he said 100%. Boyce Watkins. I mean, I said what I said. I don't know. I've been stopped following him, and he's saying a lot of off code stuff. So that's why I stopped following him, and the dealings with the Asian man, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff. It's like, dude, like just doing too much. 4th of July, I don't celebrate 4th of July. I don't even celebrate any American holiday, to be perfectly honest. I've been celebrating Juneteenth pretty much like all my life. I remember the family barbecues and, and just getting together and, even though my family celebrated 4th of July as well, but I know we also, the same thing we did on 4th of July, we did on Juneteenth, and we've always done it. It wasn't nothing new. I'm just hoping that, I was pissed off when they made it a national holiday because I knew exactly what was going to happen, and it did. With everybody looking to profit off of it, and I just I just hope that, going forward, we got to tightly gatekeep it, coming out with everything. I heard a little, very, very small amount of fireworks on Juneteenth, but I'm sitting here now listening to this. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And I live in a very predominantly black side of the town. I moved here intentionally, and just to hear is just like, it's crazy. It's like, what do you Negroes celebrate? It's what to keep running through my mind. I guess, it is what it is. People are going to do what they're going to do, and that's fine. I'm not here to judge. I just, I still got my Juneteenth flag hanging from my house. To be perfectly honest with you, I got to order a black American flag because I can't find the one that I had. But, outside of that, I don't know. I'm in a weird place today. For some reason, it's just really weird. But y'all be safe out here, and I'm just trying to keep my house loud because I got my dogs and the cat. They pacing around the house and stuff, stressed out. So I'm trying to keep the TV loud, and I got you guys loud on my speaker in my room. Just making everything loud to drown out the fireworks as much as possible. So, but on that note, I'm gonna land. Be safe.
All right. Thank you. I am. Thank you. Trust me, it's hard to drown it out too, because just when I think they stopping over here, they come right back with another round of it. So go ahead and get to Brother Moku. Brother Moku, you're gonna be the last speaker for the night. What's going on?
How y'all doing, fam? Shout out to each and every person in the space. I will say this. Umar Johnson said what he said. I don't really have too much to say about it. But I will say this. Repeating the same old things that don't work will get you the same result. We have not been happy with the results. I myself don't celebrate any of these holidays. I took a word from one of my old teachers' books that has worked best for me, and that's Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben said we create our own holidays. These are not days to be celebrated. Every act that has been done, that everybody has strategically and did their hard, diligent work in pointing out in this space, the one thing that all those battles and wars have in common, even during Juneteenth, all of them failed. We are still being mistreated, and we have to be honest about that. I'm surprised that I haven't heard anyone talk about replacing this 4th of July with a day of justice. How about a day of justice where we just celebrate practicing justice on each other, being honest with each other, guaranteeing that nobody is mistreated, and guaranteeing that whoever needs help gets constructive help. Can we get one holiday, just a justice holiday? How about that? Repeating these same stupid ass holidays that white supremacists put in place and allow us to celebrate does not make sense.
doesn't make sense. Fuck Brother Muko. It ain't about Brother Muko. It's about counter-racist logic. Logically, it does not make sense. And this is absent emotion. What you hear right now is me trying to be clear because I mumble a lot. We need to start upgrading our thought, speech, and action. I'm going to hold spaces on this weekly every Wednesday. Y'all can join if you want. It's for victims of racism, white supremacy. So if you don't feel like you're a victim, then the space is not for you. I love all y'all, and I'll just leave y'all with this. Upgrade your thought, speech, and action. And how about making our own justice holiday? Just one day. Let's start with one day. Practicing justice on everybody. I'll land there.
All right. Thank you, Brother Muku. Appreciate you as always. Professor DJ, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get a final word in there before we go ahead and close the space out tonight.
Go ahead, Barlow.
Yeah, I don't even know if y'all can hear me or whatever the case be.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You there, Tyler?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
All right, no doubt, Moko. So, I guess I stepped off for a second, but yeah, they going crazy around my way with these damn fireworks right now.
Hey, can you hear me, Professor?
Like shit on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
DJ must can't hear me. Yeah, you must be in the Matrix.
I think you're in the Matrix.
I can hear both of y'all.
Oh, no, I'm in the Matrix then. All right.
Go ahead, Professor.
All right. Well, Barlow to be back up, family. Look, tonight, race space. One thing about it, we know that everybody seems to always want to talk on our issues, and they always try to bring in controversial issues that probably shouldn't even be mentioned. It's not even worth mentioning. But like Brother Muko said, let's talk about some solutions to all of this. Days that we can put in place that talk about justice. I like that idea. I love it. We just need to start thinking of ways that can just build up our people, Black American family, and encourage our people as we continue to go through the daily battles and the daily struggles of white supremacy. And that's where I'm going to land my plane at, family. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Professor. DJ, go ahead. You got it. You there, DJ? I don't know if DJ's still there. I don't know if he's still having issues. Hey, can you hear me, DJ?
Well, he came back up, didn't
he? Yeah, he came back up, but he's not saying anything. I don't know if he may be having some issues. So I guess let me go ahead and guys, thank you once again for coming to the space. As always, thank you to the co-hosts and the speakers, the listeners, and everybody else. Thank you for those that did go out and tweet out the actual Brooks actual article. Thank you guys. Thank you. It's out there. So make sure you go ahead. If you haven't had a chance to retweet our article, make sure you go ahead and retweet Brooks article out there so more people can actually find it and actually go to the site and actually read the actual article that the sister wrote as well too. So, we'll be back tomorrow night, Monday. Oh, damn, I'm about to say Monday. What am I saying? Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be back tomorrow night, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and holler at everybody. And, yeah, like I am said, be safe because these fireworks, man, good Lord, I don't think they're going to let up no time soon here. So anybody that listens to the actual YouTube channel, y'all going to hear a bunch of fireworks tonight in the actual YouTube channel. So I do apologize for that. But thank you, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you to everybody who tweeted out the space, listeners, the speakers. Thank you to everybody who contributed on Cash App, PayPal. So thank you, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Everybody be safe out there as well, too. So have a good night.